Hey guys, just wanting to give you a quick heads up. Getting this video up on YouTube has been an absolute nightmare because of copyright reasons. I don't know what it is about Narnia that makes Disney so incredibly severe with that, but just so you know, if throughout the video you see a giant Disney logo appear over the footage, it's not my fault. It's not a mistake either. It's just the only way I had to get around that copyright bullshit. That's it. Just wanted to let you know. Enjoy the video, guys. Happy holidays, everybody! I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're feeling happy and cozy. I hope your hot chocolate didn't burn your tongue because that happened to me a couple weeks ago and that shit is not fun. Today, I want to talk about a movie that always comes to my mind around the holidays. A movie that I remembered liking quite a lot, but that I hadn't seen in years. A movie that, despite its big name, has kind of been forgotten in a way, mostly because the sequels have been subpar and the franchise just kind of fell off over time. Yeah, you guessed it. Today, we're going to revisit Home Alone. Wait, no. The Chronicles of Narnia. The Lion, the Witch. That title is too long, but the first movie, the good one. See, this movie came out in the year 2005, which means it just turned 17 years old. Jesus Christ, I'm a relic. This movie came out when I was 11 years old. It came out the same year as Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and that's significant because it was made at a time where every film studio was trying to have their own Harry Potter franchise. Warner Brothers had created an absolute monster in 2001 that not only made insane amounts of money at the box office, but also dominated pop culture almost every year. It's the literal dream for a movie studio. Everybody was jealous of Warner Brothers, so everybody was trying to adapt some fantasy novels that could appeal to a large audience, hence the Chronicles of Narnia. Narnia was very much Disney's answer to Harry Potter. They wanted to compete and they made sure to throw all the money it needed to be great. $180 million. That's how much the first movie cost. Nowadays, we're used to seeing studios dump $200 million in a blockbuster, but back in 2005, it wasn't that common. They were taking a huge bet here. And it paid off because this movie made a lot of money. In fact, it made close to $750 million at the box office, which is huge. And it's not really difficult to see why. This movie had all the right appeal. It emulated the aesthetics of the first two Harry Potter films. They released it right before Christmas. It was all incredibly well executed. And fun fact, because I didn't know that until a couple days ago, did you know that Narnia was directed by the director of Shrek and Shrek 2? Yes, this is a completely useless fact, but who knows? It might come up at a dinner, and then you'll thank me because you look like you know things. You're welcome, by the way. I'm gonna be honest, I was really nervous to revisit the film because I had not seen it in like 12 years or something like that, and while I remembered loving it, I didn't know if it would hit the same as when I was a kid and a teenager. Yeah, I'm an old man now, so I was afraid the magic would be ruined for me, especially because, unfortunately for me, I remember the sequels. They kinda shit the bed with those. But I'm very glad to report the magic was not ruined. I'm actually kinda surprised at how much the first Narnia movie holds up. It's still really good. I had forgotten so much of the movie, and re-experiencing it after all this time brought back so many cozy memories. I had a big stupid grin on my face the whole time. We're gonna go through all that together, but before we get into it, I'm gonna take a quick moment to give a hug to the sponsor of this video. Thank you to Helix Sleep for sponsoring this video. You know, I like to sleep. I like to sleep a lot actually, but I don't get to do it as much as I'd like because I have been dealing with extremely severe insomnia since I've been 16 years old. So there's nothing that makes me daydream more than the idea of a mattress so comfy I'll just fall asleep as soon as I lay on it. And you know what? Helix heard my prayers and said, "Bro, we got you. So they sent me a brand new mattress. Now, if you don't know, Helix makes premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your needs and conveniently shipped right to your door. Trust me, they have something for everyone's unique taste, and if you sleep with a partner, you can even take their sleep quiz together and find something that's the perfect compromise for the both of you. Yep, you heard that right. They literally made a sleep quiz that is designed to match your body type and sleep preferences to make the perfect mattress for you. For example, I took that quiz and I was matched with the Midnight Luxe mattress. My fiance and I are both side sleepers and we like a mattress that's not too soft and not too hard, something more medium, and it was just the perfect match for us. I've had my Helix mattress for a couple weeks now and I love it. I'm sleeping more comfortably, I'm no longer waking up with my back killing me. It's like sleeping on a cloud. And guess what? With your Helix Sleep mattress, you get a 100-night sleep trial, along with a 10-year warranty, and there are financing options and flexible payment plans. So, long story short, if it makes you nervous to buy something that you haven't tried, you get more than 3 months to make sure that you love it. And if you don't, they'll just come and pick it up for you and you'll get a full refund. I honestly love my Helix mattress and I think you will too. If you're looking for a new bed, check out Helix. Click on the link below or go to helixsleep.com/friendlyspaceninja for up to $200 off your Helix Sleep mattress plus 2 free pillows, because they're cool like that. And if you live in the US, you get free shipping. All the info will be in my description. Thank you so much to Helix Sleep for sponsoring this video. You guys are the best. So the Chronicles of Narnia, the Lion, the Witch, and the Audacity of this Bitch is the story of Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy, 4 siblings who are sent away from London by their mother to go live at the country house of an eccentric professor in order to avoid the violence of World War II. Peter is the older of the siblings and kind of the leader of the gang. He's a good guy who likes to follow the rules. Susan is the Hermione Granger of the group. She likes to read books and is academic, and everyone thinks she's really boring. Lucy is the youngest. She's adventurous and sassy, but sweet and incredibly generous. And Edmund is the rebellious preteen of the family who never listens to anyone. He's a little shit, and everybody wants to slap him. Together, the siblings try to find some footing in this new environment. They don't really know what they're supposed to do, but everything changes radically when one day they decide to play hide and seek, and Lucy finds an abandoned wardrobe in an empty spare room of the house. Convinced she has found the perfect hiding place, she decides to hide inside of it, and that is when she makes an incredible discovery. The wardrobe is a passageway to another world. And right off the bat, I am on board. See, I don't know why, but stories of alternate dimensions or other worlds existing somewhere hidden in our own world is something I really like, but it's also very difficult to make it work, and I think Narnia makes it work. The scene where Lucy accidentally discovers Narnia for the first time is perfectly directed. That shot of her backing away, slowly making the audience realize that this wardrobe is much bigger on the inside than it is on the outside is such a simple effect but so well executed, and then boom, snow and trees. And this movie moves really well. It's impeccably paced. It knows when to slow down and it knows when to get to the point. Lucy discovers Narnia 12 minutes in, and then the movie is allowed to do whatever the hell it wants. In just 12 minutes, they introduce and establish the characters, they show you their bond, you get to see why they need to go away, because the movie opens with a scene of their home being attacked during the war. They get to the new place, Lucy discovers Narnia, now the real plot kicks in. And they do a great job at establishing these characters. In a few minutes, you get a sense of each of their individual personalities, their individual relationships, and their motivations. The siblings are all fleshed out characters. They all get a full arc to themselves during the entire movie, and all of those arcs, while a bit cliche, are really well executed. They also have great chemistry. They bounce off of each other incredibly well, their banter and overall dialogue is really effective, and it makes them feel like real siblings. siblings. They're constantly bickering, they get annoyed at each other, but the movie also does a great job at showing how much they care for one another. Most of their disagreements stem from their desire to find the best way to protect themselves as a unit, and everybody is able to make some solid points even if they're not always right. Except for Edmund, but he gets his moment to shine later on. I joke about him being a little shit, but the truth is, his arc is probably the best out of all 4 of the kids. He's like the Prince Zuko of Narnia, but we'll talk about that more later. Anyway, so Lucy discovers Narnia, and there she meets James McAvoy, aka Mr. Tumnus, the friendly fawn, and his interaction with Lucy is cute as shit. So Mr. Tumnus learns that Lucy is a daughter of Eve, aka a human being. Intrigued, he invites her to come to his house for tea and cookies, but little do we know, it's a subterfuge. Tumnus is actually kidnapping Lucy, because for the last 100 years, Narnia has been under the control of an evil witch named Jadis, who froze the entire land and proclaimed herself queen. But there is a prophecy that says that 4 human beings will come to Narnia to destroy the witch and restore the land as the new kings and queens. So Jadis has ordered the people of Narnia to bring any human that sets foot in Narnia to her so she can kill them and ensure the prophecy never comes to pass. So when Tumnus discovered Lucy was a human, he decided to trick her into coming to his house so he could use his magic fire flute to put her to sleep and text the queen to come pick her up so she can kill her ass. Except Tumnus is not really a bad guy. He doesn't want to do that, and he starts feeling way too guilty about sending Lucy to her death. So he changes his mind and instead decides to help Lucy escape so she can go back to her world safe and sound. Lucy manages to get back, and then she realizes that time does not work the same in Narnia. See, she's been gone for hours, but when she returns, not a single second has passed. Literally, Peter is still counting down to start the game of hide and seek. Completely baffled, Lucy tells her siblings what just happened to her. But when Peter, Susan, and Edmund go to the wardrobe to see what she's talking about, the portal is closed. It's just a regular wardrobe now. So Lucy looks real dumb and nobody believes her.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
Naturally, she's upset and she decides to check on the wardrobe again the following night. This time, the portal is open, so she knows she's not crazy, and she goes back to Narnia to see her new favorite homeboy, Tumnus. What she doesn't know, though, is that Edmund followed her there, and this time, he sees Narnia too. But instead of seeing Tumnus and some happy little creatures, Edmund encounters Queen Jadis, the witch, who, by the way, is played by Tilda Swinton, who is absolutely awesome in the role. Jadis quickly understands that Edmund is a human, but unlike Tumnus, she also knows that he's just a child, and so she figures instead of killing him now, she can just manipulate him so he brings his 3 siblings to her and she can kill them all at once. So she takes advantage of Edmund being disoriented and she pretends to be his friend. She tells him she can make any food he wants, and Edmund asks for Turkish delight, which, by the way, ew! Jadis gives him some and she starts telling him he's a great kid and has all the qualities to become king of Narnia. She quickly figures out that Edmund doesn't really like his siblings, so she tells him once he's king, he can basically just enslave them and they'll know what's what. And Edmund is excited about that because he's an asshole. He then asks for more Turkish delights because he's a greedy little shit, but Jadis tells him she will give him more if he returns to Narnia with all 3 of his siblings, and he agrees. This motherfucker sold his family for the most mid candy in the realm. At least do it for some Ferrero Rochers, my guy, have some style. I like this plot point because it really sets up a number of conflicts going forward. One thing that I like about Narnia is that it's not a simple battle of good against evil. I mean, yes, that's what the main conflict is, but a lot of internal conflicts are just about characters reevaluating their morals. And that's pretty interesting. By that point, I was fully under the movie spell. This movie is so charming, man. It's so pretty, it has great visuals, it feels so Christmassy. I feel like I'm right back to being 11. So Jadis leaves Edmund and he is found by Lucy, who is thrilled that Edmund is in Narnia because now they can go back and Edmund can tell Peter and Susan that Lucy is not insane. So they go back, Lucy tells Peter and Susan that she was in Narnia again, this time with Edmund. Peter asks Edmund if it's true, but Edmund lies and says Lucy is still making the whole thing up.
You know what little children are like these days? They just don't know when to stop pretending.
Oh, you little shit. The next day, though, after Edmund accidentally shatters one of the house's windows, the four siblings try to hide from the mean housekeeper to avoid getting in serious trouble. They run and run through the giant house to find a place to escape her, so they decide to hide in the wardrobe. But this time, though, the portal is still open, and as they back up to try and hide, they arrive in Narnia. And this time, there is no discussion to be had, no questioning anything. The four siblings are in Narnia at the same time.
I'm sorry.
That's alright. Some little children just don't know when to stop pretending.
To make it up to Lucy, Peter tells her they will do whatever she decides, despite Susan saying it would be safer to just go back to their world. But Lucy says she wants to introduce them to her brother from another mother, Tumnus, so Peter agrees and they go to his house. However, they found the place in shambles, and they learn that Tumnus was arrested by the Queen's police for fraternizing with a human being, which is considered high treason. Susan reiterates that they should leave immediately and go back to their world, but Lucy disagrees. She thinks they should find a way to help her homie Tumnus because he was arrested for being friends with her. But before they can settle the beef though, they are found by a talking beaver who is a friend of Tumnus.
How do we know we can trust him?
He said he knows the fawn.
He's a beaver. He shouldn't be saying anything.
He says they need to get to safety now because the trees can listen to them. So they follow him to his house where he tells them about the prophecy and about Aslan, the divine lion and creator of Narnia. Now, pause. We gotta talk about something. I think nowadays it's a pretty well-known fact that Narnia is an allegory for Christianity and the books are fucking jam-packed with biblical themes. Now, I'll be honest and admit that I read the books when I was 12 and I don't remember much from them, but I do remember a few things. In the books, it's explained that Narnia is not the only other world. There are actually a lot of them which you can access through this place called the Wood Between the Worlds. That's how Aslan moves from his world to Narnia. Now, like I said, Aslan did create Narnia, so he's basically its god. But through the different stories, it's implied that Aslan actually exists in every single world in existence. But people know him under a different name in each one of them, and he appears in a different form in each one of them. And so, yes, in our world, we know Aslan as Jesus Christ. I think that's the big distinction here. A lot of people assume that Aslan is like a metaphor or an allegory for Jesus Christ. No, the books are actually way more pretentious. Aslan is Jesus Christ. That's just one of his other forms. And now all I have to say about that is, I'm no religious person, but I do think that if there is a God, he probably sounds like Liam Neeson. So great casting, you guys nailed it. Anyways, back to the movie. Peter, Susan, and Lucy learn about the prophecy, and meanwhile, Edmund quietly leaves and makes his way to the witch's castle. He gets there and sees a bunch of statues lying around. Everything is made of ice, and after wandering about for a minute, he finally meets with Jadis again. And because he's a greedy little shit, he immediately asks for more Turkish delights. But this time things don't go the way he wants, and when Jadis sees that Edmund failed to bring her his siblings, she drops the act and shows him her true colors.
Well, I think so. But Mum says...
How dare you come alone?
Did I mention Tilda Swinton is amazing in this movie? She's amazing in this movie. Edmund is now terrified of Jadis, and out of self-preservation, he immediately betrays his family and gives up their location. This weak-ass little bitch. Jadis then locks him up with Mr. Tumnus and sends her army of wolves to track the other kids. But it fails and they manage to escape thanks to a fox who tricks the wolves to buy some time. Oh, and I'll just quickly say, because I think it's worth mentioning, the voice acting for the animals in this movie is really good. The main wolf is especially menacing. I don't know who voiced him, but holy shit, he's great.
It's not much. But still.
Damn, he sounds so cool. And this is also where you realize this movie has some genuinely sinister moments. Finding out that the statues of creatures around Narnia and in the witch's castle are not statues, but are actually the people of Narnia that were frozen by the witch and displayed in her castle is like really messed up. I had completely forgotten about that, and damn. Shit's cold. So after a bunch of chase sequences, Peter, Susan, and Lucy get some help from Santa Claus. That's not a joke, by the way. They really get help from Santa, and that's really funny to me. I don't know why. He gives them a bunch of weapons and sends them on their way to find Aslan so he can help them get Edmund back. And the build-up to Aslan is super effective. I did not remember that we don't actually get to see him until way past the halfway point of the movie. He shows up like an hour and a half in, and he basically rocks for the rest of the movie. Aslan is so fucking rad. Anyway, so Aslan is like, hey, you're the kids from the prophecy, but there's only 3 of you. Where the fuck is the 4th one? So Peter and the others have to explain that Edmund betrayed them, but they're still trying to save him from Jadis. So Aslan promises he'll do what he can to save him, and later on, he actually succeeds in freeing him in stealth mode and bringing him back to his side of Narnia. But now, Jadis is really pissed off because earlier, Edmund snitched on Aslan and told her he had an army and was planning to take back Narnia. So she's like,
oh, you motherfuckers. Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
And she decides to pay a visit to Aslan to put some pressure on him. She tells him she wants Edmund back because of some old magic law that says traitors are hers for the taking. So basically, Edmund belongs to her now. But Aslan, being a good Jesus lion, plays the selfless card and makes a secret deal with Jadis. If she promises not to harm Edmund, he will give himself over as replacement. Jadis obviously agrees because it's her occasion to kill her greatest threat, and she leaves. So the following night, Aslan keeps his promise and gives himself over to Jadis, who executes him in front of her minions and in front of Susan and Lucy, who are hiding in the woods. Aslan is now dead, and Jadis obviously breaks her end of the deal and decides to kill everyone anyway. Thankfully though, the spirit of the forest saw everything happen and she goes back to the other side of Narnia to warn Peter about the death of Aslan and the imminent arrival of the witch and her army. So now is really the moment where those character arcs are in full effect. Peter is learning the true values of being a leader and making difficult choices, which makes him change his perspective on the situation. At first, he just wants to protect his brothers and his sisters. He doesn't care one bit about Narnia. But as time goes, he learns to stand up to fight for the right reasons, the right cause, and to not be so severe with the people around him. He goes from just wanting to save his ass and his family's ass to wanting to stay to protect Narnia. Edmund is obviously learning to stop being a selfish little asshole. Literally every single decision he makes up to a certain point, he makes thinking only about himself and whatever it is that he wants in the moment, even if it means putting everyone around him in literal danger. He doesn't care about anyone. Edmund only ever thinks about Edmund, and he will betray anyone if it gets him candy. As a character, he's literally the embodiment of greed, and he's kind of a coward. But as the story goes, he slowly learns to muster up some courage, and he makes some decisions that are not always great, but that are more and more aiming at protecting others, and he eventually becomes the ultimate ally to Aslan and his army. Susan learns to trust others a bit more and to not always assume that she knows better. Yeah, her issue is that she's very intelligent, but she knows she's intelligent, so it makes her a bit of a smartass and she's a bit overconfident at some points.
Just trying to be realistic.
No, you're trying to be smart. As usual.
I'd say that out of everybody, her arc is the thinnest and her character is the least developed. It's mainly because she has a bigger role in the sequel, but yeah, she still has somewhat of an arc, it's just not the best. And Lucy's arc is way more about her growing up and figuring out what her values are, even though it's way more fleeting. But she has some pretty good moments where she gets to really assert her values, and it's pretty cool. So now, Avengers Endgame is leaving the chat because the great battle begins. Peter is now the leader of Narnia's army, effectively fulfilling the prophecy. And he made a plan to try and fight Jadis's army, which is much larger, and I just gotta take a beat because, bro, the music is popping the fuck off right now. Anyways, meanwhile, Susan and Lucy are about to make their way back when suddenly they hear a big noise behind them, and when they turn around, surprise, surprise, the Jesus lion comes back to life. He He explains that he came back because Jadis didn't realize that he couldn't be executed as a traitor on the magic table because he's pure of heart and innocent, like he's not actually a traitor. So the table broke and reversed his death. Okay, sure. That's kind of flimsy lore if you ask me, but whatever. Jesus is back.
I just want to say thank you so much, not only to God, but to Jesus.
So he takes Susan and Lucy with him, and they go to Jadis's castle to rescue all the people that were turned into statues by Jadis, including homeboy Tumnus, who's finally reunited with Lucy. Back at the Avengers Endgame battle, Peter and the Narnians are getting their asses fucking handed to them. Homies are losing bad. Jadis is like out here fucking kicking ass and doing some sick witch karate. I mean, they can't keep up. She's on that real shit. Edmund suddenly gets hit by some severe main character syndrome and he thinks he can 1v1 Jadis, but yeah, that didn't work out for him. But Peter sees this and he goes, oh bitch, not today. So he goes in and he takes Jadis 1v1. But again, nah, Jadis is on that witch ninja shit. He can't compete. He gives her a good run for her money, but she ends up putting him on his ass rather quickly. But right when she's about to kill him, Aslan arrives and fucking destroys Jadis right on the spot, finally ending the war after 100 years.
It is finished.
Honestly, it's a really good climax. Like, the end of the second act kind of drags a little, despite the movie being generally extremely well paced. But the third act picks up so fucking well, I honestly love it. It's exciting, it's epic, it's a much larger scale than the first Harry Potter movie. And while all the plot is going on, it also does a fantastic job at bringing all of the character arcs to a satisfying end. So yeah, Narnia is now saved, and Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy are crowned kings and queens of Narnia. Something that I had completely forgotten though is that they don't actually go back to their world immediately. They actually live an entire life in Narnia. There's a time skip and we see them as adults years and years later, still living in Narnia as kings and queens. They wander around in the woods and they encounter a place that feels all too familiar. They start walking through the trees, everything becomes very narrow, and as they push forward and push forward, they fall out of the wardrobe, back in the spare room where they entered Narnia for the first time years prior. Except, just like last time, not a single second has gone by and they are back to being kids. The professor comes in and has a complicit little exchange with them that kind of signals he knows where they were, and then roll credits. So, quick question. Are they now adults in kids' bodies? Because, like, they remember everything that happened in Narnia. If they were there for, like, 15 years, Peter would be, like, in his 30s now, and he's just back to being a teenager? Isn't that weird? Like, I wouldn't be okay with that. I wouldn't be okay with that at all, actually. I would go right back to Narnia. Fuck that. I don't care. So, yeah, that's how Narnia ends. I'm honestly really happy that I love this movie just as much as I did as a kid. It's really fun. It's really effective. It's cozy. It's a perfect movie to watch over the holidays. The characters are fun and cute, the music is fucking beautiful. It just has a charm to it that's really unique. So unique, in fact, that the sequels couldn't recapture that. Ugh, the sequels. Maybe I'll revisit those next Christmas. I just wish Narnia still had somewhat of a place in pop culture. A few years ago, Netflix announced they were rebooting Narnia as a big budget TV show, which got me really excited. But I think that project has been stuck in development hell for like 5 years or something. So I doubt it's ever gonna happen, but I do hope we get some new Narnia soon. I like this world. It's very rich in lore and there's a lot to explore. Even beyond the books, there's so much there to create new stories that are just as cute as this one, so I hope somebody does it justice one day. Thank you for revisiting this movie with me. I know it's a bit of a different format for my videos, but I thought it was fun. Let me know what your favorite holiday movies are, what gets you into the spirit. Let me know if you enjoy Turkish Delight so I know to never ever talk to you, and let me know if you want me to revisit the sequels in future videos. That could be fun. I don't know. You guys let me know. Okay, I'm gonna go make some hot chocolate now. Bye! Unpopular opinion. I like that Ted got back with Robin.
Wrong! You are sorely mistaken. What in the fuck is wrong with y'all?
No, they were never good together.
Yeah.
They were like cute middle on when they're dating before they like really stop and think about the fact that like Robin doesn't want kids and that's all Ted wants. So.
There's literally 2 seasons worth of their story where the point of it is they don't work.
Yeah, it's literally just driving home to the audience, to themselves, that no matter how hard Ted tries, they don't work. Robin doesn't want it to work. She's like, no, it's not you.
Yeah.
To just have it be like,
Actually, that's maybe kind of what I wanted the whole time.
Robin, your kids are teenagers.
Yeah.
But it's because they had a planned ending. And they had shot those scenes years ago and then felt they had to stick to it. But no,
they shot the ending in 2006.
Yeah.
The show ended in
with
2014.
the kids. Yeah. Just change it.
Yeah. It just didn't work.
Doesn't
and like
work.
the problem is that they had a planned ending that could have been good, by the way. But the issue is that by the time they got to that ending, the identity of the show had completely changed.
Yeah.
And in that they had managed to give us, like, season 8 has an episode that is literally meant to wrap up the Ted and Robin storyline with a perfect little bow, so that everybody feels comfortable with the fact that they didn't work. She's gonna be with Barney.
And
they're
that
meant
actually
for
makes
each other,
sense.
and that
Makes
actually
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the entire final season takes place during the wedding, like leading up to the weekend of their wedding, which was an odd choice to make like 20 episodes take place in 3 days.
It was rough, but I still like a lot of it.
But they make jokes of it too, though. Like,
they're
like, wow, there's a lot that happened this weekend. Like, strange lot. Like,
if they had pulled like a CW where like the season was like 15 episodes instead of the usual 20-ish, I think it would have been much better.
I agree.
But so the entire last season is the wedding of Robin and Barney. And then they get married and the finale starts and they're like, actually, they got divorced a year later.
Yeah, like
off
almost
screen.
Instantly.
I'd be so pissed.
I was pissed.
Yeah.
Because it's just like she's been traveling for work and he's traveling with her and then is like super unhappy. And I'm like, but no, that would make sense. Barney would love just getting to like bounce around and like sleep with his hot wife while she's doing work and stuff. Like, none of it makes any sense. Like, it was dumb. It was super dumb.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, because like Ted's certainly not going to be okay with her traveling around being a travel journalist. He's
That makes
needy
no
as fuck.
sense.
Like,
he's needy as fuck. Yes.